Hey YouTube, this is the PGK coming at you today with a 20 questions lock tag. Okay, first question. Do you remember the specific moment you decided you were going to dread your hair? Where were you and how did you feel? For me it was a little different. From a young age, I'm talking about probably teens, I realized that I wanted locks, and at the time they weren't as popular. Most of the people that I saw were older women in the professional fields who kept them neat and, had different variations in color. Some had gray and some had black and some had blonde, and I really liked it. I felt it was a strong, regal look and something that I was always drawn to. So that's basically what pushed me into starting my locks. What method, if any, did you start your dreadlocks? I didn't start them. I went to a loctician and let her start them. She used the rat tail comb to twist little spirals, and I grew my hair out for a year prior to actually locking, so it was about this long by the time she finished spiraling them. How old are your dreadlocks? My dreadlocks are about 6.5 years old, and yeah, that's about how old they are. What is the length of your longest and shortest dreadlock? Okay, they have variations, but this is probably the longest one, and that's partially due to the fact that it's halfway through the head. If one is up here, it's obviously going to be shorter, even though it could be the same length, but roughly speaking, my longest one comes to a little below my chest. And my shortest is up front. I have a problem with breakage up front, and so I do have one that's about here. So, I'm trying to figure out the best products and best techniques to avoid that, but it's still something that I have to deal with on a regular basis. Do you have any dreads that are especially unique or strange or awesome? I love all my locks. They're, again, different lengths, different sizes. Sometimes, it can be hard to deal with when you have different lengths or different sizes, but, it's one of those things where it's a part of you, and you love some parts of you and you dislike some. So if you see something you don't like, then work to fix it, and that's basically how I look at my locks. How many locks do you currently have? Is that the same number you started with? I believe I have the same number I started with. Some of them around the edge are starting to thin a little bit, so I probably will start to join them a little bit, but so far I probably have about the same amount. And I have pretty thick hair, so I have not counted, but I'm going to guesstimate over 100 because I haven't done a roller set in a while, but when I did, I had to get probably about 100 or more rollers, so definitely close to the 100 mark, if not over. What shampoo or other products do you use on your dreads? I do Jamaican lime sometimes, but then I switch it up. I've had variations. Still trying to find something that really fits for me and that I love. Right now I'm using Pantene for African American hair, for dry hair, so that so far works pretty well. It smells good on the first day or two, and that's what I'm using right now. How often do you wash your locks? I'm trying to get into doing them every 2 weeks, but depending on my schedule, that's not realistic. So it's probably close to 4 weeks. So because my hair, it doesn't get crazy itchy or anything like that, it's okay. But I'm looking to do it more often to see if that'll help with any breakage issues. Do you do any regular maintenance on your dreads? Yes, I do. Little do people know that yes, I do maintenance, as far as even gotten to the point where I sewed locks in. But not the full lock, but just if I have breakage, I would sew the actual lock back on. And that's just to keep length when styling, and just in general, it's easier, especially in the front, if you have some length, so that you can do things like swoop your hair and all different, and style it in different ways. So yes, I do maintenance on a regular basis. Maybe every once a week or 2 weeks. What are your favorite beads or other decorations? Now, when I started my locks out and they got a little length to them, maybe about this long, I did wear shells mostly. I did wear like the little seashells that you see, and I got them from the beauty supply store, probably in a pack of 12 for $1. And I only use like 2 at most on my hair, maybe 3 at any given time, because it was just to have a little flair but not to get carried away. So that's the most that I've done, but I don't do any type of shows right now, or haven't done with my length. Maybe I will. If your dreads had their own personal motto, what would it be? I'm sexy and I know it. Again, going back to that, the locks are all different. They all have their own little set way of growing and style. But at the end of the day, they compile something that's very sexy, very chic, and something that I love. So, if you could start a new set of locks, would you do anything differently? I probably would try not to retwist as much in the beginning in the front. It was difficult because, again, you fall prey to the whole wanting to have your hair look as good as possible, and while you're doing that, you could possibly be damaging your locks. So I would say trying to really stick with not retwisting. Now, I did know that I wasn't supposed to retwist too much before I started, and I don't think I would do it every day, but as they started to actually become teenage locks, I probably did it more often than every 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. Let me scroll down so I can see the rest of the questions. Is there anything else unique about your appearance other than dreadlocks? I don't have any piercings. Yeah, I have a couple of tattoos. You know, I like to say there's a lot of things that are unique about my appearance. But, I mean, that's up to preference and what you like. And I like it, so I think I definitely have some unique parts to my appearance. How many people do you know personally with dreadlocks? Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say 5 or 6, and that's not with having counted them all. It's not that I don't see people with them on the regular, because where I live they are very popular, but people that I personally know, a lot of them have cut their locks off, and some people are doing the natural look but haven't locked yet. So I would probably say 5 or 6, but there is a lot in my area that I don't know that are just people you see in passing. Have any employers turned you down for having dreads, and any wanted you because of your dreads? I don't think that any have turned me down. I always kept my hair pretty well, but even with that, I don't think it was ever an issue. My experience and personality and skill set was what got me through the door with my positions, not a problem with my hair. Not to say that I don't believe that any employer might discriminate, but I haven't encountered it. What's the weirdest question you've gotten about your dreads? Dumbest, funniest, or most common? Most commonly, I do get the, oh, your locks are so nice. I mean, they're the nicest I've ever seen, or, I get that a lot. And it doesn't anger me or anything, but it is kind of funny, as has been said to by some other locked individuals, that it's like 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. You're complimenting me, but then also not complimenting the type of hairstyle that I like. So it's kind of odd. It really is, because just because someone doesn't keep their hair as manicured as someone else doesn't mean that locks themselves aren't beautiful. And I really do think, again, in talking about breakage and other issues, you're not supposed to do maintenance on your hair. So people who have some of the nicest locks are ones who really don't mess with them as much. So, but next question. Have you ever had a freak accident or an embarrassing moment involving your dreads? No, I haven't had one fall out or do anything crazy. Now, I was in the bathroom the other day and lost a little piece of lock, and I was like, but I haven't been out anywhere and had that happen. And, you just keep an eye on things and make sure that nothing appears to be loose, but I really haven't had that problem. Do you have any dreaded role models? If so, who? Well, when I, again, was looking at locks, I told you I was looking at everyday women who were wearing them, rocking them with style, flavor, pizzazz. They had the blonde, the gold, the silver, the black hair, whatever the case. I always liked the one Busta Rhymes, and he's cut his And you know, Lauren Hill used to have them as well, but it was usually the everyday women that really inspired me. What dreaded YouTubers could you see yourselves hanging out with in real life? Definitely the Bronze Goddess. I love watching her videos, and that's the Bronze Goddess 01. And Cheska Locs, I definitely enjoy her videos. I used to watch Farah as well, but I haven't watched her in a while, and I know she doesn't really have her locks anymore. I think that's a list, but I'll add some more if I can think of any, because I kind of have to go back to my list and see. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it. Do the tag if you're interested, if you have locks and you want to do the 20 questions tag, please do. Thanks. And post it as a response if you'd like. Hey YouTube, this is the Peachy K. I had to come back and finish up this last little part on my 20 questions lock tag, because one of the weirdest things that were said to me was from my grandfather. Love him to death, but he's from the old school, so you know, locking to them is like a big deal. And it was recently, probably about 6 months ago, he said to me, girl, you know, I'll pay for you to get your hair done. Take them things out. And I had to laugh it off, because again, I know the era he's coming from, it wasn't even popular at all. So I understand, but this is me and I love it, so I'm keeping it. But that is one of the funniest things. And I think he even said it again after that. And so it's the running joke with my family, because, you know, again, at the end of the day, it makes me happy and I enjoy it. So I'm going to keep it. All right, take care, guys. Bye.